Hey guys, I hope you're well. I'm at my friend's place and I'm recording this in her children's room, so that is why the interesting background. At least it's a change of scenery for you guys. And I don't have any kids, so do not worry. I don't have any mystery kids lying around. So guys, I don't know, today I'm feeling so lazy. I just want to lie in my bed, watch TV and eat junk. But I have a lot to do. I have a lot of work, and I have 2 Jrev sessions I'm doing today, so I have a busy day ahead of me. So please pray that I get some inspiration and motivation. But today the title of our daily inspiration is Beautifully Broken. And that may sound like it makes no sense. But do you know that God allows us to go through periods and seasons of brokenness in our life? And those periods and seasons of brokenness, are actually there to achieve something beautiful in our lives. But when we're going through the season, it can be really hard to understand what's going on. And very often, just based on a lot of the teachings we hear, today, people don't believe that God would actually take them into a period of brokenness or actually allow them to enter into difficult situations, but He does. And if we look at the life of Joseph, we see that God gave him a great vision for his life, but then he had many years of extreme brokenness that he had to go through. I don't want to put my head here. So we see Joseph had to go through years and years of brokenness, but God used that and used his life to make something beautiful. And God used his life to bless many lives and many nations, and to save many lives and to save so many nations from starvation and droughts and everything that was happening in his time. But he first had to go through a period of extreme brokenness. And guys, guess what? God allows us to go through seasons of brokenness, because as hard as they are, as much as we hate them, God starts to build something beautiful on the inside of us. And I have gone through many seasons of brokenness. And when I'm in the season, I will do anything to get out. It's just like, I want this to be over. But when I look back, I realize God has really built something inside of me that I never would have had if I was just living on the mountaintop all the time. And God takes us through seasons in our lives where He molds us and shapes us to be more like Him. And He does this to make us effective servants of His, so we can live a life that matters, that we can live a life that impacts others, that we can live a life that leads a legacy. But not just that, that we can build an inheritance and reward for ourselves in heaven while we're here on earth. And that's an everlasting inheritance and reward. And sometimes we just run away from difficult situations when they come, thinking that God wouldn't do that to us. He wouldn't put us in a job with a difficult boss, or wouldn't put us in a difficult church even. We think, oh, that's not God. We have to be very careful. God does allow brokenness. And just like Joseph, he was broken and he experienced extreme brokenness, but God exalted him to greatness. Jesus experienced brokenness until death for us, but He was exalted to greatness, and He is now a King who reigns, and His kingdom is coming. And if you look at many great men in the Bible, brokenness is part of their story. Look at Paul, even look at David, what he had to endure. And I would like to say that actually brokenness is the key and pathway to greatness. And if you're going to keep running away from it, you're not going to allow God to build that thing inside of you that you need to change the world, to impact your circle of influence. We have to accept sometimes that we are going to be led into seasons of brokenness. And I want to encourage you, if you are going into one, or if you are in one, God will give you the grace to walk that season out. And God will be with you all the time. He says He'll never leave you nor forsake you. But don't resist it, because when we resist, we keep going around the same mountain. God can't take you to the next level unless you conquer this one. And very often we delay things because we're resisting, we're running away. I'm going to quit that job with that difficult boss. I'm going to leave that church with those difficult people. And we actually short circuit things. We need to be very sensitive to the voice of God. God has told me to stay in situations that were very uncomfortable, very painful, and very difficult. but I knew I'd heard the voice of God and I had to stay in those situations. And before you run away from brokenness or difficult seasons or difficult people, ask God if He's putting you there. Ask God if that's something He is going to place you in to build something inside of you. And guys, what God builds in you through those difficult, hard, dry, lonely, broken seasons is something beautiful. God creates something beautiful out of our lives. And even though the season may be for a time, some seasons of brokenness are longer than others. And I know that I've had seasons of brokenness that have gone on for quite a long period of time, but they're so short in comparison to the fruit that it bears and the impact that it has. It is so worth it. Don't run away from brokenness. Allow God to build what He needs to build on the inside of you to prepare you for the harvest that He has for you, whatever that may be. It could be in ministry, it could be in business, it could be in relationships, whatever it is. Allow God to build that inside of you. He doesn't break our spirits, but sometimes He breaks our will. Sometimes He breaks certain things in our lives that are in opposition to His will for our lives. And ultimately, it's for our good. Yeah, sometimes when you have children, they have certain attitudes and behaviors and stuff that are not going to be beneficial to them when they're older. And so you have to discipline them. You have to build something in them. So when they're older, it will bring and yield a lot of fruit in their lives. And God does exactly the same with us. So guys, God can make something beautiful out of your brokenness. Don't resist it. Submit to it. He will give you the grace to see it through, and you will never regret it. That's all from me today, guys. I hope you have an amazing day. God bless, and I will see you very soon.